If you tuned in to learn how to Euro nymph on your spin pole, fish flies in your spin pole, you're in the right place. I'm Scott, fish biologist turned YouTuber, living the dream, being the star of my own fishing show on TV. On this channel, we talk everything light tackle, mostly for trout, but we'll fish for anything, light tackle, fishing flies on spin rod, my homespun hair jig, fly fishing tutorials, fishing for steelhead will be coming up. That's the stuff we talk about on this channel, so if that interests you, please feel free to check back. Today we're going to be talking about Euro nymphing on the spin pole. Pretty simple. We're out here, it's December 29th, middle of the afternoon, the warmest part of the day. The river's up a little bit, it's a little murky. It's actually kind of good conditions, but we're going to Euro nymph. So one of the things I have on here is kind of my lead, called my lead fly. That's the one with all the weight. It's the bike tube Jig Stone. I've got a little video coming up where I go back into the office and show you guys what I be fishing here for 2026, some of my new flies. But today my lead fly is this Jig Stone. I've weighed it out and I'll show you that portion of the video coming up. And dangling right there, just like the drop shot technique that everyone likes. That's kind of the old school San Juan worm. So the point of this lead fly is it's all the weight. One, it gives us the casting ability. And then two, it gets us down to where we want to be. Obviously, it's a good offering. But just like Euro nymphing with a fly rod, that lead fly has all the weight, or at least most of the weight. And in my version of the technique, I like it to have all the weight. That way it functions just like the drop shot rig. So Euro nymphing, it's got a couple different names, but it's called contact nymphing, competition nymphing. They're all basically the same. We have that lead fly out here in front, heavy weight. It's a Jig Stone fly. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a bit. And then of course the San Juan worm's always good here after we've had a bunch of rain. The river's a bit murky. There's maybe some earthworms rolling out of the banks and stuff. So we have that. But the point is that this pulls you down and gets you into the zone, and you can feel and lead it through the good trout habitat where you think something's going to be. You're always in contact with that. You're always feeling it. You can feel it hit the bottom. And so you don't need a strike indicator. You're going to go right from the fish to the rod tip. You're going to feel it instantly. And that's why Euro nymphing is so popular, because it's so productive. It's not like you're going to fish far away from you. You're going to fish close in and just let it tick on the bottom. And you're going to find some hungry fish. Now today, December 29th, the river's up, 4,600 CFS. It's 47.5 degrees according to the gauge at the dam. It's not optimal conditions to catch a trout, but it's pretty good conditions for today. Probably around 40 degrees. Oh my, do we have one right there? On camera. I'm not sure what this is. Whitefish count, my friends. This looks like a whitefish. We'll see what it took. But right there in front of me, nice hefty whitefish. Oh yeah, not a bad one at all. Took the San Juanito. You gotta love that. We just tied that up yesterday for this video. These guys are squirmy. There he is, my friends. See the big San Juanito in his mouth right there on the camera. Okay, bud. Those guys are always good proof of concept when you're fishing. That fish, as you saw right there, was, I don't know, 9 to 12 feet out in front of me. You know, don't ever be discouraged by murky conditions. I don't know if you can see this on the GoPro. You might be able to see my boot out there waving it. I'd say as a steelheader, we're talking about 2 feet viz, 30 inches. So don't ever underestimate how good the fishing can be when the river's a little brown and up. There's nobody out on the river today. I didn't see any activity at the boat ramp. I'm just going to fish 2 runs in here just to demonstrate the technique, and talk to you guys a little bit about 2026, which is coming up here in a few days. Really appreciate everyone tuning into my channel. I got a bunch of subscribers over the Christmas holiday. That was exciting. I plan to grow out this channel in 2026, showing you guys more of the interesting stuff that I do. Today is just kind of an introduction into the Euro nymphing technique. Now obviously that fly was down deep enough. It took the San Juan, which is probably a good solid foot or more, 15 inches above the other one. So yeah, 2026, you'll see a lot more of this technique, the drop shot technique, fishing flies on the spin rod, dry flies, during the different salmon fly and stone fly hatches. Of course, my homespun jig, the fish finder jig, you'll see lots of that. We'll be traveling around. So I hope you enjoy this and decide to subscribe and check in every week and see what I'm up to. Always try to provide something of value that you guys can take with you. That was right on the bottom, obviously. You can take with you and use on your trout streams where you live. I'm on the boat today, so it's a little bit tough to keep the camera exactly where I want it, but we'll move down here so we can stay in frame. We fish that spot. Yeah, I've got about 15 videos laid out in the list that I want to develop for you guys with a bunch of interesting techniques, places to go. The fishing access sites videos seem to be very popular. I've got a couple of those lined up for this season. You can feel that nymph ticking on the bottom. Yep. Then you just shake it off. There's no real reason that thing should be burying into any rocks. It's a real slim profile. It's a new fly for 2026. The bike tube Jig Stone. And of course I have the rubber leg stone as well, that I've added the bike tube to, which you should really stick around and see. Very effective fly. Been test fishing this stuff in 2025. Really ready to introduce it and bring it out in 26. But yeah, as you'll see, as I'll demonstrate in the video, I'm going to float between here and the next spot. And while I do that, I'm going to play a clip inside the office of me weighing out the different things I fish on the lead fly. And so this is the lightest lead fly I have. I have a couple tied on different jigs. But this is more than heavy enough. I can feel it right there on the bottom. Fish is pretty tangle free. That San Juan worm on the top just has a real small bead on it. No other weight. And it's drifting good. A little stuck there. Allows me to just cast a good 25 feet, 20 feet. It's down to the bottom, just like I'm fly fishing. But I don't have to worry about the back cast. That was a plump whitefish. As you guys can see me down here, hopefully still on the main camera, I'm only knee deep. This is a gravel bar normally. It's pretty shallow in here normally. The river's up probably, 6-8 inches today from its normal flow that everyone fishes it at. But I'm not killing myself to wade. I'm able to just get my flies out there, fish them, not having to wade up to my belt. So if you want to catch trout, you want to fish flies, you want to go into the fly shop, get some of the cool flies, or even if you want to tie flies and get into that portion of it, and you want to be creative and do that type of stuff, but you're real afraid of the wading, getting out on the river, falling down, do it with a spin pole. Do it with a spin pole. It keeps you out of the water, keeps you on the bank. You know, that cast is more than far enough to catch a fish. It's a lot safer. You're not feeling like you need to hunt fish down out there, wading everywhere with the fly rod. Get out there and give it a try. Watch some of my videos. The stuff that I'm asking you to buy to do this is really not too expensive. You don't have to have the $100 reel and the $89 rod. You can go to something a lot less than that if that's your price point. Get into the fly shop, watch my videos, pick up some of the flies that I'm talking about. I'll give you guys the lowdown on how to get that done. Then all you need is a little bit of line, maybe some weights, some leader. You're out here fishing, right? Today, because I am fishing a little bit lighter of a fly, I did back down on the tippet material that I'm using. So I'm using a 6-pound main line here from the braid. And then on my droppers here, I went to a 5-pound fluoro, just so I know it sinks like money, like it does on my fly fishing Euro setup. So I'm gonna take a couple more casts here. Then I'm gonna head down to the next spot for the day, next riffle to fish. While I do that, I'm gonna play a video from the office talking about my lead flies and some of my innovative flies for 2026 that you'll be seeing on my channel. All right, thanks for coming inside. Red Bandy Outdoors, worldwide headquarters. I want to talk to you about a few of the flies you'll be seeing me fish this year. The drop shot rig's real popular. It's real effective, obviously. This is the unweighted rubber leg stone. I've kind of beefed it up with the bike tube on there. So come back, stick around. We'll be talking about this. We'll be tying this one up. To fish tandem with it, you know, we're going to go with the San Juan worm at times. We like the caddis as well, but this is kind of the old school San Juan worm with a little buggier look to it. Little bead on there. Be fishing that one. Of course, where legal, we'll be trying the squirmy wormy material and some other rubber stuff, because it's always cool to have new inventions out there on the river catching fish. And then you'll see me right now in this video testing out the Jig Stone, the bike tube Jig Stone. This is on Fulling Mills size 8 jig force hook, like a 3.8 millimeter bead, some weight. So we're going to weigh this out, compare it to some of the other stuff I use that you see me catching fish on. This is for the Euro nymphing technique. This is a really effective technique for those of you who want to fish light tackle spin, flies on spin for trout. So the Jig Stone that I invented, first, weighs about 1.4 grams. So to get started, up here in the right, 1/16 of an ounce is about 1.77 grams. So I like to weigh these twice, and I like to weigh a couple different ones just to make sure I'm getting them about the same. Here's one that's 1.4, 1.4. So my Jig Stone on the Fulling Mill hook with a solid bead, some added weight, tied up. Looks pretty effective. It's about 1.4, so it's slightly shy of a true 1/16. Right, so let's put a true 1/16 jig on here. This is the Neon Moon Eye. You guys have seen me fish this a lot. It's the most effective jigs on the market for ultralight angling pursuits. So that's at 2.0. Right there, the pink-headed, that's at 2.0. So that's a little bit higher than the 1/16 ounce standard of 1.77 grams. Let's try the super sexy Deep V from Northland. That's about 1.9. Okay, 1.9. So a little heavier. So I tie up on that same jig. This is a black one. I tie the rubber leg stone on this. Use this for my Euro nymphing lead fly. That's 1.8. I don't know how you put material on it and it gets a little lighter. This one has been used. The head's been banged up a little bit. So that guy's 1.8. Keep the colors. Do this right. 1.8 grams on that guy. Another good one to do this on, you know, a little bit more cost effective is the ball head by Northland. Just their standard ball head. This is a 1/16 ball head. We'll be using that one quite a bit. That one comes in at 2.1. That's one of our heavier ones. Hey, I got another one right here. Let's try that. That again comes in at 2.1. So that's the standard ball head. It's kind of got an orange color there. Pretty cool. You can put any color different legs on it. You know, you see I got some white barred, that one. This one here is a brown barred. Real simple to tie. We'll show you guys how to tie that. And then, of course, my homespun jig continues to weigh in at about 1.4. This is good stuff to know for the Euro nymphing, so we can kind of see if we need to tie this a little heavier, or this is fine. 1.4 might be something that'd be perfect on a little bit lighter rod. We'll have to see. I know these jigs work well because I cast them all the time with the fish finder jig. This is just slightly lighter. So thanks for tuning in. We'll get back to fishing. All right, welcome back. Hopefully that in-office tutorial was helpful. I know it gets a little blurry when I put that white piece of paper behind there, but I wanted to show you guys the different weights and reinforce the idea of that lead fly. The water's up today. I've been fishing this run a little bit here after I lost that big whitefish. I still have the Jig Stone on. I did try the ball head up above a little bit as I floated down. The Jig Stone appears to be heavy enough. You know, I could add more weight to it, but either way you look at it, I've got the Fish ENG, the Fish Engineering leaderboard out, totally loaded up with the flies I need, so I can switch back and forth between these rigs. I can add a bead if I want to fish with an egg pattern. But again, on the 7-foot spinning pole with the 2-pound braid and a real fine leader, fluoro leader, this thing's sinking very effectively. Don't think you need the 7-foot either. You know, if you fish on smaller creeks and rivers where it's not as big as this, size down, size down a lot, and stick with the same type of flies, but just size them down a little bit, or what works for you. So here in the murk water today, the San Juan's been producing. A little wrap there on it, there we go. But it's been producing pretty good. Don't overlook a little red piece of chenille and some claret ice dub. Thanks for watching today, folks. If this was useful for you, or this information is helpful and helps you think about better ways to fish, please tune in next week, subscribe, provide some comments, other stuff you want me to learn about or explain more. We're going to keep it up in 2026. Thanks for coming along for the journey. Catch you later.